How we doing, guys? Welcome to episode 138 of the Exec Talk Podcast. I'm your host of Les Wasa. All right, so I know this is a little late. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. Stomach is killing me, but I'm out here for you, for y'all. You know what I'm saying? With predictions on NCAA, NFL, Formula One is back. We have Watkins Glen and NASCAR. We got baseball with 16 games left. Yeah, we here, battling through it. We grind over here. Feel me? But let's get to it. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Follow me on all my socials. Comment down below. We going up. You know what I'm saying? Big things coming soon. Just got to get them squared away, but big things coming soon. 49ers, well, Jets 49ers, because it was in Santa Clara. 13-32 49ers in an absolute, what I would like to call a good old-fashioned ass whooping. All right? Ass whooping. Why? Because when you let the backup running back that hasn't gotten more than, 3 touches in the last year, get 28 touches for 147 yards with no Christian McCaffrey. Remember, at the end of last episode, Christian McCaffrey news came down. He's not going to play, Achilles, calf. And everybody, and people were like, oh, nah, bro. Guess what? They still have Fred Warner. They still have Nick Bosa, Charvarius Ward. They still got the defense. They dominated. And they still got that offense. Brock Purdy was efficient. If we go to the box score, the Niners just dominated the interior D-line. Like, Quinn and Williams didn't do nothing. Quincy couldn't do nothing. Like, their edges couldn't do nothing. Like, they literally ran it down their throat, the zone scheme, one cut, and just go. Like, we're talking about giant holes. And then Brock Purdy, when he was passing, he was just efficient. He was Brock Purdy. We expect nothing less. The defense dominated, had a pick. Debo had a good game in the absence of CMC. Jawan Jennings had a good game, which I think if CMC is out, he'll have a little bit more of a role. Aaron Rodgers made it through the game, so he's healthy. But like we said before the game, that offensive line, man, it is iffy at best, all right? Interior, I mean, Breece Hall is so talented that he can make holes when there's no holes, kind of like Saquon. But at the same time, like, if Tyron Smith is getting beat over and over and over like a drum by Nick Bosa, I understand that this is the 49ers, Super Bowl runner-up, probably the second best team in the NFL. It's a tough one to get back from an Achilles injury on the road, the long flight. But at the same time, though, you got to show me something that you're going to have some hope. I mean, you showed me something. Garrett Wilson to Aaron Rodgers looks like a good combo. Breece Hall looks like the monster he always was. But other than that, man, they don't got a number 2 receiver. What is that? Allen Lazard? He did something. He caught, he caught a ball and stuff like that. But I'm concerned for this offense after Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. I know Aaron is probably going to play pretty well. His arm is still lively. But as an overall team, if they're going to get ran down their throat like that, like, damn, man, that's tough. We'll see when we get to the predictions this week, though. Like, I don't think that it'll be that type of game for them this time around. But yeah, man, this is what I expected. I mean, I expected the 49ers kind of to dominate this game. I wasn't, the Jets, I don't think, could put up a fight against this team. It's too talented, too well put together, too together. Like, they've been together for a long time, both sides of the ball. So Trent Williams played, like, he was dominant. Ayuk played, he played really well. So, shout out to the 49ers. We finished going 13-3 week 1. So shout out to us, 13-3, not bad. them Browns, the Bengals, they screwed me out of a 16-0, but and the Steelers, of course, but it is what it is. 13-3 still good, better than all these guys on TV getting 9 wins, 10 wins. Like, come on, man, step up to the big boys. We'll only lose 2, 3, 4 games and get everything else right. That's how you know you're a true analyst. I digress, though. No hate. All right, so the first thing we got to talk about is before week 2, before NCAA, we have Formula One back this weekend. It's at Baku in Azerbaijan. Some of you guys don't even know where that is. Well, guess what? It's a pretty small country, all right? It's a pretty small country, but has a hell of a racetrack on the streets of Baku. Very technical racetrack, hard to pass. If the DRS zone did not get lengthened on the front stretch, you're rarely gonna see passes. It's very technical, very inside the streets, Monaco-esque even. Tight turns. We're talking about like millimeters from the wall in order to get the fastest line. I expect guys like Lewis Hamilton, Norris, Verstappen to be good, but this is one of those tracks that people can surprise you, like Carlos Sainz or Oscar Piastri or even George Russell, maybe a Charles Leclerc, maybe maybe a Checo, could pop up out of nowhere because it's such a technical track. Like, you have to be perfect every single corner, got to hit your brake points, got to hit your acceleration points. Like, it's so rhythmic. I think it's going to be very exciting. Every other year something happens. There's a crash. People get stacked up in turn 1, lose 3-4 cars. You've had failure, like mechanical failures and stuff like that. But I think that this is one of those races that can cement the championship for Verstappen if he wins it, or can put it really, really into play if Norris wins it, or just somebody like Verstappen finishes like past third and doesn't get as many points, and let's say like Norris wins it, then that really closes it up. But also, this could be a Red Bull racetrack. It was last year. It was the year before. I mean, it is. They dominated this racetrack. I expect Lewis to do well. I don't know if he has the car to win per se, because they're definitely giving George Russell a better car. It's just Lewis is the better driver to me. But I expect McLaren to put up a good fight. We'll see on qualifying how it is, even though qualifying don't mean nothing when you look at race pace. I expect the McLarens to be strong, but it's such a technical racetrack. It kind of rewards experience. So Lewis, guys like Checo, Norris, I feel like have a good shot of winning in Baku. All right, let's get to NCAA Week 3. Okay, now there are some sad teams already. Okay, but let's start. We have Arizona State versus Texas State. We're taking Arizona State. Northwestern State versus South Alabama. I'm taking South Alabama. They're both 0-2, so who knows? Kansas versus UNLV. I'm going to take Kansas. Arizona versus Kansas State. I'm taking Kansas State. That's number 20 versus number 14, both 2-0. Alabama versus Wisconsin. We're going Bama, even though it's in Madison. Oklahoma State, Tulsa. We're going Oklahoma State. LSU, South Carolina. Now, this is interesting because I want to go LSU. They're the ranked team, but they're also 1-1. It did face a tough opponent week 1. I'm not gonna lie. Facing that, facing that a USC team who seems to be pretty good, was a tough task. But it's in South Carolina. South Carolina's been buzzing. I don't know if Nussmeier is gonna be like completely ready for this game, so I'm gonna go out on a limb, even though I believe in LSU talent, especially on the outside and Emory in the backfield. I'm going to go South Carolina at home. I might eat my words, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't know about this LSU team, to be honest. Arkansas State versus Michigan. We're going Michigan there. If they lose that, the season's over, essentially. So they better win. Central Michigan, Illinois. We're going Illinois. Florida State versus Memphis. Florida State is a favorite at 0-2. Memphis is 2-0. We're going to go Florida State, but they might lose, and I'm going to be laughing my ass off, even though I just picked them. Louisiana Tech, NC State, we're going NC State. Cincinnati versus Miami of Ohio, we're going Cincinnati. North Texas versus Texas Tech, we're going Texas Tech. Boston College versus Missouri. Missouri is the number 6 team in the nation. Sneaky. We're going Missouri there. Massachusetts versus Buffalo, we're going Buffalo. Coastal Carolina Temple, we're going Coastal Carolina. Oregon versus Oregon State. Now, this is one of those games that if Oregon's going to really be in the talks with those Georgias and Texas, this is where you got to blow the doors off an Oregon State. Because right now you were in battles with, you were in close games with shitters. Like you were Idaho, 24-14. Boise State, good team, but 37-34, that's too close to call. They almost ran on you for 200 yards. Like, if you guys don't beat Oregon State, I'm sorry for Dan Lanning and everything, but that team just doesn't have the talent that it had last year, and they're gonna see it pretty ugly. They're already 9th. They started, I think, 3rd, or 4th. So it's gonna be definitely interesting. I'm gonna go Oregon and Dylan Gabriel and Dan Lanning, but it's in Oregon State. It's where the Beavers play, and it is a rivalry game. Like, this is a definite rivalry game, has gone on for, I think, over 60, 80 years. So it's going to be some vitriol and some nastiness, but I'm going to go Oregon over Oregon State. Miami versus Ball State, we're going Miami, 3-0, 10th team in the nation. Cam Ward, I think that's going to be a blowout, probably like 56-3 or something like that. Tulane, Oklahoma, we're going OU. Even though the Green Wave is a pretty good team, but they're 13-point underdogs. Notre Dame, Purdue, we're going Notre Dame, even though a little shaky. Riley Leonard, a little shaky. A little shaky, 1-1. If they lose to Purdue, it's over. That's it. Texas A&M at the Swamp. Now, guys, I am a diehard Florida Gator. I went to Florida. But I'm also a realist, and I'm never going to lie to you. I have a feeling that we are going to get smacked by Texas A&M. We got smacked by the FSU and by UM, and I think Texas A&M just has better talent than us, honestly. Now, if we win, I'd be happy. But from what I've seen from Florida and Texas A&M, I think Texas A&M is the better team. Prairie View versus Michigan State, we're going Michigan State. Nevada versus Minnesota, we're going Minnesota. Washington State versus the Huskies versus Washington, we're going Washington. VMI versus Georgia, I don't even know who VMI is, so we're going with Georgia Tech. West Virginia versus Pitt, interesting game. I think that's interesting. West Virginia's 1-1, but they just won against Penn State. So West Virginia is a 2-point favorite. But Pitt's 2-0. Pitt has beat Kent State and Cincinnati. I like the West Virginia Mountaineers. I like what they have on offense. So I'm going to pick West Virginia, even though they're at Pitt. But I'm going to pick West Virginia. I like Garrett Green. Morgan State versus Ohio. We're going Ohio. Troy versus Iowa, we're going Iowa. App State versus East Carolina, we're going App State. UAB versus Arkansas, we're going Arkansas. Utah versus Utah State, number 12 versus unranked, we're going Utah, the Utes. UConn versus Duke, we're going with the Dukies. NC Central versus North Carolina, we're going with Tar Heels. Virginia Tech, Old Dominion, we're going Virginia Tech. FIU, FAU, the rivalry. Yeah, FIU going to get that ass. Now, if we get our ass whooped, it is what it is. But FAU's 0-2, and we're 1-1, so I'm going to go with FIU. I'm a Panther as well, so, go Panthers. It's in FAU, though. It's in Boca. UTEP versus Liberty, we're going Liberty. SC State versus Georgia Southern. Old Miss versus Wake Forest, we're going Old Miss. Jackson Dart's not going. I don't think he's going to flub. Bethune-Cookman versus Western Michigan. We're going Western Michigan. UTSA versus Texas. Texas is going to whoop that ass. That's another massacre. Vanderbilt versus Georgia State. We're going Vandy. Southern Florida versus Southern Miss. I'm going to go with USF. Georgia versus Kentucky. That's a bloodbath. That's Georgia. Nebraska versus Northern Iowa. Nebraska with Raiola. New Mexico versus Auburn. We're going Auburn. Toledo, Mississippi State. We're going Mississippi State. Indiana versus UCLA. Indiana's a 3-point favorite. It's very interesting. I think I'm going to go UCLA, though. I think I'm going UCLA. Baylor versus Air Force. We're going Baylor. Colorado versus Colorado State. I'm going Colorado. I think that Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter have a point to prove, and they're not going to go outside. Neither is Prime, so I'm going to go Colorado. UCF versus TCU. We're going TCU, even though UCF is a 1-point favorite, even though it's at TCU. So I'm going to go TCU. Kent State, Tennessee is a blowout. That's Tennessee. Maryland versus Virginia. We're going Virginia, even though Maryland's the favorite at 1-1. Yeah, I'll go Maryland. I like the Terps. Rice versus Houston. We're going Houston. BYU, Wyoming. We're going BYU. San Diego State versus California. We're going Cali. The Golden Bears. And then New Mexico versus Fresno State. We're going Fresno State. That is your college football lineup for this week. Now let's get into that shit. All right, starting off in a little bit about an hour and 15 minutes. Bills, Dolphins. All right, this is very simple. Devon Achane just got cleared to play, so he's going to play. So it's probably going to be him and Jeff Wilson in the backfield. Tua's 1-6 versus the Bills, and Josh Allen murders the Dolphins. It is at home. It's in Miami. I smell a little hometown cooking. I'm going to go Miami. I feel like that defense is much improved with Jalen Phillips back, Javon Holland, Jalen Ramsey. I think that we can hold that young receiving core of the Bills. We just have to, corral, be in our rush lanes for Josh Allen. And another thing is, I don't think there's anybody on that Bills secondary that can cover either Jalen Waddle or Tyreek Hill. I just don't see it. I think that they're going to hit him with timing. I don't think that Buffalo's going to disrupt that timing, especially at home. It's always a possibility because Josh Allen is a beast, literally. But I'm going with the home team. I'm a homer. I think that we have a team to do it this year, especially in our division. So I'm going to go Dolphins in tonight's matchup. I think Tyreek catches a touchdown. I think Jalen Waddle has not a big day, but he has a solid day. And I think that we take what Arizona did to that defense running-wise with Devon Achane and Jeff Wilson, and I think we replicate that a little bit. Watch out for our running game. We might go for $150 or $180 on the ground just to pound it in there just because, it worked. Like, James Conner worked that last week, and they got some holes in there. So I believe that we can run the ball. So although they've lost 5 in a row versus the Bills, and Tua's never beaten Josh Allen, I'm going to go with the Dolphins, all right? I believe that we will win. Next is Chargers-Panthers. Do we really have to say anything about this game? This is another blowout for the Panthers. This is in Carolina, the home opener. And boy, the home opener is going to be leaving people like this. They're going to be like, holy shit, our team is a bunch of clowns. Now, this is what I say about the Panthers, man. I don't know how the hell you can show up that bad and not get better throughout the week, or are you just that bad? But I'm going with the Chargers, man. Harbaugh ain't going to let this slip by. He wants to go 2-0. You know what I'm saying? He has to keep up with the Chiefs. So I think it's going to be, I honestly think it's going to be a massacre. But what I'm thinking is, who is Justin Herbert going to throw to? Is it gonna be Quentin Johnston? Is it gonna be Ladd McConkey? Is it gonna be Joshua Palmer? Like who is he actually throwing the ball to? That's what I want to know. I don't have a problem with the defense. The defense gonna eat. Joey Bosa gonna have sacks. Khalil Mack gonna have sacks. Derwin James might have a pick. You know, you have Asante Samuel Jr. might have a pick. Like, I don't think there's a chance in hell that Panthers win this game. Now, what I do want to see from Bryce Young is a little bit of improvement. Like, bruh, like a little bit, bruh. Like a little bit. Like, I'm not even asking you to be all world, but you were a number 1 pick Heisman Trophy winner on a national championship team. You kicked the shit out of college. And now you seemed like you could be Jamarcus Russell 2.0, dog. Like, what? Come on, man. There has to be some pride in you to be able to play better. Like, but it's not this week. This week you're getting cracked. You're getting murdered. So Chargers for the win. Next, we got Raiders, Ravens. All right, we're going with the Ravens here. The only thing I worry about is that offensive line. But against that Raiders offense, I mean, that defense is going to eat. Kyle Hamilton is going to be on Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer. Humphrey's going to be on Devontae Adams. Gardner Minshew ain't going to do nothing. You know, you got Matabike. You got Roquan. You know, so I personally think this is a bloodbath. I don't think this is even close. I expect Lamar to have a big day. Zay Flowers to have a big day. Derrick Henry to see the ball a lot. I expect Derrick Henry to see the ball a lot. I feel like they're going to start balancing out so Lamar doesn't have to run the ball as much, although I don't think that he'll ever run the ball that much. It was just against the Chiefs because he wanted to win that bad. But the Ravens are going to kick Raider ass in Baltimore. Home opener, bro. They don't even have a chance. They show up and it's literally to take the L. It's like, oh, put on your suit, put on your uniform, put on your helmet. All right, 60 minutes. What you get? An L served up, nice, piping hot on the road. Go take that plane back to Vegas. Like, I don't think there is no chance. You know, this is one of my locks. This is a lock right here. Ravens, Raiders, Ravens all day. You know what I'm saying? Big trust. Shout out to Lamar. Then we got Browns, Jaguars. Now, this is very interesting because are we going to see the same Deshaun Jackson we saw against no. Who was it? Now it got me thinking. Who did the Browns lose to? I already be forgetting. That shit's crazy. Oh, yeah. The Cowboys. See, do I expect Deshaun to play better? Yes. But do I expect Deshaun to play better and Trevor Lawrence to play bad? No. Now, that defense is what scares me, Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith against that offensive line of Jacksonville. But when we look at just quarterback play, at least through the first week of the season, listen, I want to go with the Browns. But they have so many. Their offensive line is messed up. Like, I'm going Jacksonville. All right, Brian Thomas, I expect you to have a big game, even though you're probably going to be shadowed by Denzel Ward. That means Greg Newsom's going to be on Christian Kirk. And that means probably Grant Delpit or Owusu Koromoa is going to be on Evan Ingram. I expect Travis to get some holes, but I'm not particularly optimistic of running the football against that team. Listen, this is literally because of how Deshaun Watson played. Like, if Deshaun Watson would have played normal, then I would have picked the Browns because that defense is insane. But, like, if Deshaun Watson is not going to hit the side of a barn by 8 yards, it don't matter if you got Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, that don't matter because you can't move the ball. You got no Njoku. He's hurt. So I'm going to go Jacksonville. I might regret it, but I think that the offensive firepower and, just the competency at the quarterback position is better than the Browns. Now, that defense does scare me, though. Jets, Titans. All right, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I don't know if it's a limb because I'm pretty sure you guys are all picking the Jets. I'm picking the Jets as well, but I'm scared. Now, what do you say I'm scared? Well, I'm scared because the defense got their ass ran on. Like ran on. Now, it was the 49ers, and I understand that. Now, the reason I'm going with the Jets is not because of Aaron Rodgers. It's not because of that defense. The reason I'm going with the Jets is very simple. Will Levis has not shown me that he is a franchise quarterback. Facing one of the greatest of all time in Aaron Rodgers, with one of the best receivers in the league in Garrett Wilson, with one of the best backs in the league in Breece Hall. I think that amalgamation of talent, and if I said that wrong, say it in the comments. I think that's how you say it, though, or homologation of talent. Just putting it together. That basket of talent, I think, is just enough to just beat the shit out of the Titans. Now, will it be a blowout? It can be. But will it be? Probably not. Probably not. Jeffrey Simmons, Tavondre Sweat, they still can play. Probably going to be some offensive line breakdowns for the Jets. But I feel like the Jets have enough on defense and offense that they can win, even though it's in Tennessee. Now, Tyler, if they win, listen, my hat to you, bro. But what I've seen so far, I think A-Rod's going to play well. This is not the 49ers defense. I think he's going to find some holes. I think Garrett Wilson has a good day. I think Breece Hall has a nice day. And I think you guys get the win. Okay? Seahawks, 49ers, Vikings. We're going 49ers. Now, some people might think that this is a blowout. I don't think so. I think Sam Darnold, and it's funny because he's going against his older team that let him go when he was a backup. So it's kind of funny, that they're facing each other, and they're facing each other in Minnesota. All right, it's literally going to come down to who's going to cover JJ. Will Jordan Addison play? Because he's questionable, but he's probably going to play. Can they get enough of the running game with Aaron Jones? And then what are they going to do on the defensive side of the ball? And my answer to that is absolutely nothing, because they can't do anything versus that offensive line. They can't do nothing versus Jordan Mason, because I don't think CMC's playing this week, although, he might. But with that calf and Achilles, I think they want to save him, especially the way that Jordan Mason is running. Expect Debo to have a giant day. George Kittle to maybe have a touchdown. Ayuk to maybe have a good day. I expect Brock Purdy to have his typical 21 of 25 for 290 and 3 touchdowns or 2 touchdowns, high passer rating, high QBR. I just don't think that this defense can hold at all against this offense. So I'm going 49ers, even though they're on the road. I think Sam Darnold's going to show some things, but I think he's still going to get destroyed by Nick Bosa. Unfortunately, that's just what it is. Just how it's going to be, when you're facing that defense, Also, Kyle Shanahan taught KOC everything he knows. So that's a little bit of an advantage for the 49ers as well. Seahawks, Patriots. All right, guys, listen. There is no way in hell, after that performance against the Bengals, that I'm picking the Patriots. And I'll tell you why. As soon as they face a competent offensive team, competent, doesn't even have to be all world. We're talking about competent. I think it's a wrap. And the reason why is that Christian Gonzalez only had to cover Jamar Chase last week. This week, you got DK, Tyler Lockett, and JSN. Plus, last week, you had to face Chase Brown at running back. This week, you're facing K-Walk. Last week, the defense didn't play that well. This week, you're facing probably the best corner tandem, top 2 corner tandem in the league, in Rick Woolen and Devin Witherspoon. Plus Murphy, plus Nwosu. So I'm going with the Seahawks. I think Geno is going to play better than Jacoby Brissett. And the mere fact that Christian Gonzalez can't triplicate himself and be on 3 guys at once is the reason why I think, even in Foxborough, I think that the Seahawks get it done. Now, I could be wrong. That defense could be good, but I don't think they can stop the run. I honestly don't think that they can stop the run with K-Walk. And when it comes down to it, somebody going to be open. Somebody going to be open. You're going to put Christian Gonzalez on DK? Shit, DK might be open. You know what I'm saying? Because he's way more physical than Christian. Christian's a finesse corner. You know? You want to put him on Tyler Lockett? All right. Well, DK's going to be on somebody that's going to get their head bust. Same thing with JSN. So I think that they have a dilemma with the receiving core and also stopping K-Walk. And I think Geno Smith plays better than Jacoby Brissett. And also, who in the hell do you think is going to beat Devon Witherspoon and Reek Woolen? Demario Douglas? Tyquan Thornton? Hunter Henry? Who? Who on that offense? Nobody. That's why the Seahawks are going to win. Saints Cowboys. All right. I know that all you guys are going Cowboys. Understandably so, especially at home. Dak is incredible at home. But do I believe that points could be scored on this defense? Yes. Do I believe that Derek Carr can score on this defense? Yes. But still got Micah. Still got Trayvon Diggs. Still got Bland. Still got Lewis. Still got Lawrence. That is a problem. Now, Marshawn Lattimore is hurt, I believe. I'm not sure if he's going to play. Let me check real quick the injury report on Marshawn. Let's see here. Going to defense. So he did not practice Wednesday. So he's questionable. If he don't play, CD is having a day. And even if he does play, I think still CD has a day. I'm going with the Cowboys. I think Micah dominates. They can't run the ball. Cowboys, they can't run the ball at all. And I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball against this defense. I think they're a good run defense. But CD, especially if no Marshawn's there, I think you're going to cook them. It's at home in Dallas, home opener. I think that, Cowboys are just too much for the Saints. Then we go Giants Commanders. All right, basically a toilet bowl of the week. And I say toilet bowl because the Giants are a part of it. Now, this is very simple. Who do I trust more? $40 million garbage quarterback Daniel Jones, or rookie with a lot of promise and can run all over the place in Jaden Daniels? I'm going Jaden Daniels. It's in Washington. So this is the home opener of Washington. So I'm going Jaden Daniels. I expect Terry McLaurin to be targeted more. I repeat. I expect Terry McLaurin to be targeted more. Okay. Thank you for hearing me. The only thing I worry about is probably that defense, but Daniel Jones is just going to give you the ball. So as long as you're not stupid with it, you're going to win this game. This is the second worst team in the NFL behind Carolina. So I feel bad for Malik Neighbors. I feel bad for Wan'Dale Robinson. I like those players, Jalen Hyatt. But, their quarterback is not competent. So I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels, and he gets his first dub at home. Bucks Lions, we're going with the Lions. It's going to be a fun game. I think it's a good matchup. Kind of like the Rams Lions. I think it's a good matchup of two weapons. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Baker Mayfield. You got Rachaad White. Versus that defense that's much improved, especially that back end with Terrion Arnold and Brian Branch and CJ GJ. And I think that Amon-Ra has a big game. I know that they're going to have Antoine Winfield Jr., but they don't have no more Carlton Davis. So that kind of throws things out of whack. I think that the Lions just keep rolling. Not talking about a blowout, but maybe by like 7 or 10. Baker is gonna play well, but that offensive line is gonna fail sometimes, especially against Aiden. And I just think Amon-Ra, Sam Laporta, J-Mo, Jahmyr Gibbs, Montgomery. I just think it's too much. And I think the Lions are, they keep it rolling. Rams-Cardinals. Interesting game. No Puka Nacua for the Rams. That means Tyler Johnson will probably become more of an option behind Cooper Kupp. I expect Cooper Kupp to get another 20 targets. I'm going with the Rams, but I expect Kyler to make it a game. The reason I'm going with the Rams is just Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp and Kyron Williams. That's it. When I look at the Cardinals, it's just not enough there. Kyler has to look for Marvin Harrison Jr. He has to get him involved. They have to get that connection. You can't just live and die by Greg Dortch. You got to throw it to your big receiver. You got to throw it to Trey McBride. Like, you should just exclusively be Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, James Conner. That's what it should be. But that's not what it is. I'm going with the Rams, McVay, just Stafford, Cooper Kupp. It might be a close game, high scoring, but I got the Rams. On the road. Steelers-Broncos. All right, Steelers fans. This is what you guys want to hear. I'm going with you guys for the simple fact of TJ Watt and Prey. It's basically because of TJ Watt. Do I believe the Broncos have anything for you guys offensively? If Bo Nix doesn't start waking up, it's only week 2, so I'm not expecting him to. I love Sean Payton. I like that defense with PS2 with Benito, Jewel. Like, I like those players. But, like, when you're going against, and we still don't know. We still don't know if it's going to be Russell or Justin at this moment in time. But they say Wilson is closer and closer to return, so he might start. Listen, I'm going to be very honest with you guys. I still think the offense ain't going nowhere. But I think your defense is so good, especially with TJ Watt and JP and Minka and Hurdig and Alex Highsmith, Cameron Hayward. I think that it's good enough to just stymie this Broncos offense. And it's also in Denver. So it's at the high altitude. But I think that you guys have enough. Now, if you guys shit the bed on this one against a rookie quarterback, we're going to have some questions. But as of right now, whether Justin Fields or Russell starts, I'm going with you guys just for the simple fact of that defense and TJ Watt. That's it. TJ Watt. That's it. Bengals Chiefs. Guys, we're going to Kansas City. We don't know what Joe Burrow we're going to get. We don't know how the wrist is. He says it's fine, but he keeps flexing it. That doesn't mean it's fine. Jamar Chase is going to get doubled. There's no T. Higgins. And it's only Jamar Chase out there because you're not going to throw for the Andre Yosivas. You're not going to throw to Jake Irwin. I think that's his name. You're not. You're not going to throw to those guys. You got Chase Brown in the backfield. So it is literally Jamar Chase and Prey versus that defense. That interior offensive line is going to get cooked by Chris Jones. So do I think this is going to be a blowout? It has a propensity to go that way. But I'm going to give Joe Burrow the benefit of the doubt. I think it's going to be relatively close, but I think Kansas City pulls it out in the end by like 7 or 10. I think Xavier Worthy's going to have another big game. Rashee Rice. Expect Travis Kelce to get more involved. No Hollywood Brown yet. Hopefully he plays, especially for my fantasy team, but no word yet. He's still questionable with the ankle. So we shall see about that. But I'm going KC, especially since it's in Arrowhead. So, home cooking. Isaiah Pacheco should have a good game too. Last but 2 more games left. Bears, Texans. We're going with the Texans. Houston's opener. I don't think this is close. Caleb might play well, but I think that defense is legit. That Texans defense, I think that offensive line for the Bears is going to get mauled by Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson. They're going to live in the backfield. Derek Stingley's going to shut down. One of them. Keenan is hurt. Well, he's hurt, so we don't know if he's playing. Rome, DJ, he's going to shut down one of them. And I think that overall, talent-wise, I don't think that defense has anything for C.J. Stroud. Nothing. You got Montez Sweat, and you got Jalen Johnson and Tyreek Stevenson, but it's just too much. Nico Collins and Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs, Dalton Schultz. You still got Mixon. I just don't think they have enough. I think the Texans are going to win and win comfortably. I'm not saying blowout, but I'm saying they win comfortably over the Bears. And then last but not least, Falcons-Eagles. We're going with the Eagles in Philly, home opener on Monday night. Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Saquon. I think Saquon's going dummy. I feel bad for the Falcons because they should have won versus the Pittsburgh Steelers last week, so they don't go to 0-2. But, yeah, this looks like an 0-2 to me. That defense is too much, especially for that interior offense. I mean, that offensive line is good, but the interior D-line for the Eagles is too young, just two young dudes, and 2 young bucks in Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. Nolan Smith on the outside. You got Bryce Huff on the outside. So I think that, can Kirk move? If he can't, if they don't change the offense, it's going to be a massacre, absolute bloodbath. And Jalen Hurts going to have a big day. AJ going to have a big day. Devontae, Saquon for sure. Saquon's having a giant day versus this defense, even though it's much improved, but I don't think it's at that level. So we're going with the Eagles there. So those are my picks. Dolphins, Chargers, Ravens, Jaguars, Jets, 49ers, Seahawks, Cowboys, Commanders, Lions. Oh, I forgot Packers and Colts. All right, so Jordan Love is not going to... Okay, he's questionable, but the way that he got injured, I think LaFleur is not ruling out Jordan Love, but I don't think an MCL sprain you're gonna play 1 week later, man. I don't advise it, and 2, I just don't think that he would. He didn't practice Thursday, but the quarterback was engaged. They know every play call, and is coaching up Malik Willis and Sean Clifford. Yeah, I don't think he's playing. That's why the Colts are going to win this game. You're not going to tell me that even in Lambeau, Malik Willis is going to somehow, some way pull a rabbit out of his hat and he magically can throw now on time and on target and not just look to run and not fumble over his own feet. I think that the Colts are ready. JT, AR5, Alec Pierce, Michael Pittman. Expect Michael Pittman to be have much more of a role this week. JT as well. That defense is going to be suffocating. So I'm going to go with Indianapolis there, even though it's in Packerland over there in Wisconsin and Green Bay. Just because, if you don't got Jordan Love, I just don't I don't believe in Malik Willis or Sam Clifford. I just don't. I don't matter. It doesn't matter how good LaFleur is. But yeah, those are my picks. We also have NASCAR this weekend in Watkins Glen, the road course. I expect Kyle Larson to be extra aggressive in trying to get that win after the crash at Atlanta last week. I expect the heavy hitters in the road courses to really come to the front. So your SVGs, your AJ Allmendingers, your Martin Truex Jr.'s, Kyle Larson's, your Chase Elliott's, your Tyler Reddick's. Like, I expect them to be at the front. And it's going to be a bloodbath till the end. It's a great racetrack. Really fun, really fast, good passing, great braking zones. I love that track. It's going to be very interesting. I think Kyle Larson is going to go for it because he has to. So I'm going to pick Kyle Larson to win. But anybody can win this race. Daniel Suarez, Logano, Reddick, like I said, he can win it. Martin Truex Jr. can win it. Chris Buescher can win it. Chase Briscoe can win it. So, like, there's a lot of people that can win it. But I'm going Kyle Larson. And then in baseball, just to end it up, we have 16 games left. Ohtani hit his 47th home run yesterday. Got his 48th bag stolen, so he's only 3-2 away. The standings are extremely tight, although Baltimore have fallen to 1.5 games behind New York. So that's a little bit of separation, not a lot, though. Cleveland is just 4.5 games above the Royals right now. Houston is 4 games up on Seattle. So that's kind of getting closer again. And then Philly's 8 games above the Mets. That's done. Atlanta fell to 3rd. Milwaukee's 8.5 games above the Cubs. That's done. And then the Dodgers are 5 games up on Arizona and 5.5 games up on the Padres. If we go to the wild card, Baltimore has a 4.5 game lead over Minnesota, which is the 3rd place team, but Detroit is 3.5 games back of Minnesota, and they're playing really well. Especially with Tarek Skubal and stuff like that. They just got to figure out the rest of their pitching order. Minnesota has a better pitching staff. KC is stuck in 2nd, 1.5 games. The closest team I think could get in there is probably Seattle at 4 games back. Once you get to Tampa Bay 7 games back, that's too much, especially with 16 games left. And even 4 games with it, 16 games left, I think there's a lot to ask and a lot to ask for. Arizona's +2 over the Mets. It's the Mets and the Padres right now. It's Arizona, Mets, and Padres. Atlanta's 1 game back of the Mets, and Chicago's 5 games back. I don't think that's it. I think it's between Atlanta and the Mets. I think San Diego gets in. I think Arizona gets in. They've been really hot. Ketel Marte's back. Christian Walker's back. Everybody's back. So they're ready for that playoff push and trying to make it to the World Series again. Well, then that is episode 138 of the Exec Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Del Velez. I love you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on all my socials. Thank you all. God bless you. And I'll leave you all with the outro.
Que todos quieren ser el chamaquito que no puede